Here he comes, here he comes.
Boogeyman living in a scary house, telling us scaries with a stitched up mouth.
Welcome to The Scary Show, the home of grunge storytelling. The Scary Show is proud to partner with Dubby Energy, the premier energy drink alternative. If you're like me, you've been consuming at least one of those other energy drinks at least once a day, spending anywhere from $2 to $3 a can. But with Dubby, you get a whole month's supply in just one tub for close to $25 cheaper. And it gets even better. Use promo code THESCARYSHOW for an additional 10% off.
Imagine a world where society doesn't advance for 50 years. All the same problems that we had, the racism, the violence, the manipulation, the control, still exist 50 years later, and no one's thought to rise up against it.
It had to be flashing like the Daily Double, It had to be playing on TV. It had to be loud mouth on the comedy hour. It had to be announced over loudspeaker. The CIA and the Mafia are in cahoots. It had to be said in old ladies' language. It had to be said in American headlines. Kennedy stretched and smiled and got double-crossed by lowlife goons and agents. Rich bankers with criminal connections. Dope pushers in CIA working with dope pushers from Cuba, working with a big-time syndicate from Tampa, Florida. And it had to be said with a big mouth. It had to be moaned over factory foghorns. It had to be chattered on car radio news broadcasts. It had to be screamed in the kitchen. It had to be yelled in the basement where uncles were fighting. It had to be howled on the streets by newsboys to bus conductors. It had to be foghorned into New York Harbor. They had to echo under hard hats. It had to turn up the volume in the university ballrooms. It had to be written in library books. Footnote. It had to be in the headlines of the Times in Le Mans. It had to be walked on TV. It had to be heard in alleys through ballroom doors. It had to be played on wire services. It had to be bells ringing, comedians stopped dead in the middle of a joke in Las Vegas. It had to be FBI Chief J. Edgar Hoover and Frank Costello, syndicate mouthpiece, meeting in Central Park, New York, weekends, reported Time magazine. It had to be the Mafia and CIA together, starting war on Cuba, bail pigs and poison assassination headlines. It had to be dope cops in the Mafia who sold all the heroin in America. It had to be the FBI and organized crime working together in cahoots against the commies. It had to be ringing on multinational cash registers. A worldwide laundry for organized criminal money. It had to be the CIA and the Mafia and the FBI together. They was bigger than Nixon, and they was bigger than war. It had to be a large room full of murder. It had to be a mounted ass, a solid mass of rage. A red-hot head. A scream in the back of the throat. It had to be a kid that can't breathe. Had to be in Kissinger's brain. It had to be in Rockefeller's mouth. It had to be Central Intelligence, the family, all of this, the agency, Mafia. It had to be. It had to be organized crime. One big set of gangs working together in cahoots. Hitmen, murderers everywhere. The secret, the drunk, the brutal, the dirty, rich. On top of a slag heap of prisons, industrial cancer, plutonium smog, garbage cities, grandma's bed sores from father's resentment. Had to be the rulers. They wanted law and order, and they got rich on one protection for the status quo. They wanted junkies. They wanted addicts. They wanted Ginsberg. They wanted war in Indochina. Had to be the CIA and the Mafia and the FBI, multinational capitalists. Strong-arm squads, private detective agencies for the rich. And their armies, and their navies, and their air force bombing planes. Had to be capitalism. The vortex of this rage, this competition. Man to man, the horse's head in the capitalist's bed. The Cuban turf. It rumbles and hitmen and gang wars across oceans. Bombing Cambodia settled the score when Soviet pilots manned Egyptian fighter planes. Chile's red democracy bumped off with White House pots and pans. A warning to Mediterranean governments. The secret police have been embraced for decades. The NKPD and CIA keep each other's secrets. The OGBU and DIA never hit their own. The KGB and the FBI are one mind. Brute force. And full of money. Brute force. Worldwide 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 and full of money. It had to be rich, and it had to be powerful. They had to murder in Indonesia 500,000. They had to murder in Indochina 200 million. They had to murder in Czechoslovakia. They had to murder in Chile. They had to murder in Russia. And they had to murder in America. If you enjoy the stories you find here, please subscribe and click the top bell for all notifications so that you never miss an episode of The Scary Show. Hit the like button. Think of it like applause at the end of a show. Questions, comments, suggestions, let me know down below. And if you wouldn't mind, share this video so that others can discover The Scary Show. Thank you for watching. And remember, The Scary Show always answers the fans, unless YouTube hides your comments from me.